So this video is a bit about transitioning between realities and how we choose that. And we have like real life examples. Of course, it's obviously happening all the time.
It is. I spoke in a different recording about how reality can be kind of more and more like a dream. And I'm starting to experience it by in almost one-to-one reflections of my belief systems and what happens in my reality as a result. It's getting really trippy. There was an example today that was really trippy, and I kind of wanted to go through it.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited.
So, without going into too much detail about the past, there were several manifestations in my past that caused a lot of turmoil in my particular family. And I decided at a certain point a few years ago to move away from my family to get out of that turmoil, while some of the manifestations were basically ongoing. And I, over the course of time, especially over the last year or so, I've been having dreams where I'm working with my family members to be able to release certain negative connotations and negative beliefs about certain events that took place that I was involved in. And it really turns out now to be a huge reflection for everyone in this time frame, this present moment, because I've been out of the scenarios for like 4 years. Mm-hmm. And since that's the case, other people are now seeing through these 4 years that since I've not been involved, other people that are involved that choose to view things negatively are doing so of their own accord, of their own choice. So what happened today was I got a text from a family member, and because of the previous events and what I know of those negative beliefs and negative events, I had immediately dropped in vibration, and I felt it. As soon as I got my phone and I looked at who it was, I dropped. And I dropped to a point of almost panic. I'm like, oh man, do I really want to respond to this? And then I realized at that moment that I could let that go, that a text is not inherently negative. I'm not going to die from a text. Even if I did die from a text, I know I'm going to be fine because I've had previous spiritual experiences to let me know that death is not the end. So even at the very worst circumstance that I could possibly imagine about this text, I'm still going to be fine. And this kind of realization hit me. And then I asked for clarity with my guidance, and I chose to eventually I laid on the couch and I was just like, whatever scenario, whatever negative belief I'm holding about my family and the past events and the continual negativity that might be generated from that, even today, even 4 years later, I choose to let go for myself anything negative. Mm-hmm. And then I had a bit of a crying release, and that allowed me to see and not fear the family member that had texted me. Yeah. So at that point, I shifted myself and I said, you know what, no, I can engage in more conversation. Because usually up to this point, what I would do is I would be very minimalist with my responses. One-liners, just kind of avoiding, really. I wouldn't actually touch any of that. I would not respond negatively to the texts that were there, but I wouldn't go so far as to engage in more conversation either. Mm-hmm. So my choice to change was reflected in my next text, which was simply to say that I love you to this family member. And
that's big. That
was huge for me. It caused even more of a crying release, and I let go of more negative associations to past events and past beliefs. And so what began to happen then was an initiation of dialogue between me and this family member about, I suddenly felt very excited to share with this person about my spiritual experiences, specifically involving them and dreams. And this got them interested. They're like, well, what kind of dreams did you have about me? So I went through a list and I talked to them about, certain dreams, exploring discernment versus reaction. We can do actually a future recording on that.
Yeah.
And several other dreams I had involving this person. And it turned out to be a positive experience overall to text this person who I was initially fearing before the conversation started. So the point where this gets trippy is I finished, when I decided this was
Wait, trippier than you completely switching every way that you could possibly feel about it.
Right. That in itself was amazing.
Yeah.
And it allowed me to explore that, and it felt wonderful in and of itself. I knew something had shifted within me. Mm-hmm. But then the part where physical reality feels more and more like a dream, that I keep saying,
right,
is... Okay, so I initially chose, according to my text log, that I sent the text "I love you" to this person at 4:53 p.m. my time. 4:53 p.m. I received an email from another family member at 5:30 p.m., which means the moment I shifted, this is what my guidance was saying, the moment I shifted my belief structure about my family, the reality experience shifted as well. And another family member emailed me saying, you know what, I know we haven't talked in a long time. I wanted to let you know that I love you and I don't judge you for these circumstances.
That's
and
amazing.
In this case, it was a one-to-one reflection. I let go of self-judgment, and then the reflection back to me was an email not even an hour later, in which my guidance said that my brother got the idea to email me at the same exact moment that I had let go of that at the same exact time, but I received that reflection back. And I just got done emailing that person, and I was just ecstatic, and I was happy that, it was okay. Everything is okay. And I allowed myself to feel that.
That is beautiful. That is really deeply beautiful.
It was potent, and it's an experience of synchronicity that if you were to explain it, anyone else could simply say, oh, that was just a coincidence. But in my experience of it, this is just more of a reflection of what my consciousness experience is in physical reality. More and more of these circumstances that seem spontaneous are coming up as reflections of my belief, and I'm catching on to it. I'm beginning to match the vibration of my reality to be able to see that physical reality is just another dream state. It feels real, it's solid. We can have the experience of moving through space and time, but it's also a reflection of our beliefs.
I love it. Thank you. I think that was beautiful.
Yes, I think that was good for this one. I love the experience. I just wanted to share it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.